Welcome to the Tearing It Up podcast. I'm your host, Taryn. We'll be tearing it up, tearing it down, and tearing it apart, dissecting all things related to those who deviate from the standard. From leaders of their industry to leaders of mediocrity, and maybe a gear review or two thrown in. We shoot the shit and let the conversations flow, so if that's not your style, this may not be for you. Otherwise, listen in. Hope to light a fire in you somehow. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We've got another great episode for Women's History Month. This one I'm really excited about because we have like 3 other gals here. So normally it's me, Amber, and one amazing guest, and we have 3 amazing guests with us today from the Sturdy Bee racing team. And as you all know by now, Amber and I are both registered for the Sturdy Dirty this year. I did it last year for the first time, my first race ever, and Amber is doing it this year with me for her first race ever, and we're super excited about it. I'm so excited to have a buddy with me doing it. Doing it with me.
We're doing it, baby.
We're doing it. We are doing it. So today we're going to dive into like the whole Sturdy Bee team, everything behind the Sturdy Dirty, and what they are doing outside of that one race that you all might just know of and be familiar with, and all the things biking, because we just got hammered here in Tahoe with a bunch of snow, but as I mentioned recently too, after having Cassie from Wild Ride on, that we've just like switched to bike mode as soon as we got into the Sturdy Dirty. It's like all I think about, even though I haven't got enough snow like activity in my life yet. It's a fight for me to like stay focused on the snow and not just like, okay, I want to be on my bike now. So anyways, I'm going to turn it to these ladies to introduce themselves, their role on the team, and we're going to start with Jessica here. So Jessica, will you let us know what your role on the Sturdy Bee racing team is and where you are at physically in the world?
Yeah, my name's Jessica Mavica. I'm on the Sturdy Bee team and been on the team since 2018, but I started racing it in 2015 was the first year that I raced the Sturdy Dirty. And my role is primarily the social media millennial person.
Accurate.
Yeah. I'm located in Seattle on the land of the Duwamish and Coast Salish people. And the other part that I do that I think is kind of important is the food at the race. So post-race burritos and tacos are pretty important.
Yes.
Very
and
important.
A handful of other things, but yeah.
Awesome. Katie, what about you?
I'm Katie Jackson. I've been with Sturdy Bitch Racing since the dawn of time, and I've never raced the Sturdy. I am physically located in the basement of my house in Seattle, Washington at this moment. And I kind of view my primary role on the team, like I'm the registration person, and I am also in the unfortunate position of maintaining our website, which is going to get rebuilt this year.
Oh, nice!
By
That's a big
someone
step.
who knows what they're doing. I'm the registration person, kind of behind the scenes, doing all that. Like Jessica, like Katie, we all wear multiple hats, but I would say like that's my main one.
Awesome.
I'll also plug for Katie that she answers 99.9% of the info at Sturdy Dirty emails. So if you email Sturdy Dirty, it's almost always Katie that answers you.
And sometimes I'm even right in my answers. Sometimes I get them right.
She's definitely gotten a few emails from me throughout the last years of either registering. I had to drop out in 2021, I think. Trying to maybe get a hold of anyone just for being on the podcast. I think I reached out there first. So, so Adie, what about you? Where are you at? What's your role?
I'm Adie B. Lane, and my role is primarily sponsor relations.
Ooh.
Keeping the ideas flowing. I don't know.
Creative inspiration.
Possibly. I don't really actually know what I do a lot of the time, but I spend a lot of time doing it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I organize the dig days.
Oh,
That is a pretty important thing that I do, and I get together the coaches that do our clinics. So I organize that as well. Um,
those are some pretty
yeah,
important things, like things that get the race going and get people prepared for the race. That's
yeah.
awesome.
I send a lot of emails, is what I do,
Yeah.
and I have
The
a lot of
actual groundwork.
conversations. Hmm.
Jessica, what are
Yes.
you itching to say?
Oh, I just wanted to also say that we have two other members on our team,
Oh, yes.
Julie Crittenden and Michelle Brittenocker, who couldn't be here tonight, but we just wanted to make sure that they are introduced as the team members as well. So
Awesome. Yeah, I was gonna
Absolutely.
ask. So that's 5 like core team members then?
Mhm.
Yep.
And I'm sure obviously like many others as far as volunteers or however other people that come into play and helping all things, because I'm sure doing the clinics and dig days and anything else takes a whole wide web of people and things to get it all done.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me into there's 5 of you now, kind of 5 core women on the team. How, I mean, right into it, like how did this become a thing? Like who of you here today was the first member who can maybe speak to how sturdy bitches became a thing at all?
Take it away, Katie Jackson.
Um, I I'm not going to go to the very, very beginning because that could go down a rat hole. But I would say that Adi and I are amongst the original members of that team, and we kind of got together way back in the day because we wanted to do BC Bike Race. And so we kind of formed a team and we did some fundraising things so that we could go to BC Bike Race. And as the years went on, I think Julie was the next person to join us. And both Adi and Julie were kind of into this downhill thing, this thing called riding bikes fast downhill, like covered in plastic. And I remember myself, I was like, wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. So I started downhill too. And I think it was kind of around that time that enduro, this thing called enduro, was starting to come into play. And something, we were noticing that in all of these races that we were doing, the female representation was quite low. But we were all like in every race, it's like we all knew each other. There was always such a great community. And I remember in downhill specifically, like our warm up was like a dance party at the top, like, right to drop in. We got dance party going. And we just realized like, wow, there's real community here. There's a real need for something. Um, and like, I think we're all sitting around like at a bar and just be like, should we do this? Should we do an enduro race? And we're like, yeah, let's give this a go.
Well, Julie and I went to Hot on Your Heels up in Squamish, which was
Mhm.
is a women's enduro race. And um, we were blown away. Like we Katie and Julie and I had done a couple enduro races locally. Especially like back then, this is going back a ways, the Oregon Enduro Series.
What year
Um,
was this?
oh God. So we're talking 2012
Okay.
and 2013 we did the Hot on Your Heels race.
Okay.
And Julie and I and a couple of our friends did it, and we were just like, this is so cool. It's a women's race, and there's so many ladies, and the guys are all hot, and we're taking shots on course, and it's a party, and this is awesome. And we came back home, and we're like back with the team, drinking beers and thinking, why don't we have this at home? Because
Mhm.
this was so much fun.
I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I have to say, like, the essence of Sturdy Dirty and what you just said of like, oh yeah, shots on the course, just like a party out in the woods. It's like no matter how much I see this, like through social media, and that's the context of things of like, and we talk about it. experiencing it was a whole different thing. Like, oh, like I get it. Truly is a party in the woods on our bikes and all women that I was just like, this is amazing. And the fact that you guys were able to put that together. And speaking of, I asked you what year, 2013, and is this the 10th year of the Sturdy this year?
It
Wow.
is.
Yeah.
We won
Yep.
Yep.
OT.
Our first race was 2014 and down in Capitol Forest.
So you
So
guys,
yeah.
you went after it. 2013, you did Hot on Your Heels, and we're like, we're gonna do this, and you immediately then did it. Probably less than a year later, actually. So, what was that like? Like, you're like, okay, we're gonna do this, and now how the heck do you kind of organize it? Tell us about how that first year kind of looked.
Um,
Because I bet it was very different than now when you're
Katie, do you want to talk
selling
about
out
it or do
in
you want me to
eight
talk about it?
minutes.
I think it's probably both. I was just going to kick it off with like having the right connections and network of people and support from other organizations that have done racing. Northwest Cup, Friends of Capitol Forest, Evergreen. Everybody, like, having those connections is kind of where we got started. But I'll
Mhm.
let Katie
Yeah, I
take
mean,
it away.
what Kitty is saying, yeah. So essentially, once we, warmed up to the idea, we just started talking to people.
Mhm.
We had a long history of racing, so we knew a lot of the race directors. And we just started meeting with them and, pitching our idea, seeing what they thought of it and like what it would entail.
Mhm.
And it was it was really interesting. So um, we talked to Scott Tucker from the Northwest Cup, which is the downhill race series, and we talked to Trey from who used to own Race Cascadia. Um, he sold it last year,
Oh.
but um, yeah, to Cam Sloan, which is great. But we met with Trey, talked to him, and like they were all like, "That's a great idea. Good luck." Like we will offer you all the support, absolutely answer all the questions, like do what we can. But honestly, like you're going to be lucky to get like 75 ladies, maybe
Wow.
if you're lucky. And we were like, okay, cool. Like let's do that.
Mhm.
And I think we set the first cap at 75 ladies. Is that right, Katie?
Something like that. Yeah, it was very low comparatively speaking.
Mhm.
Yes. And we sold out. Like, and it didn't sell it instantly, but that
Mhm.
first
Mhm.
race sold out in a couple months.
Mhm.
And then there was a wait list. And we were like, well, we could probably handle more. Let's just like let more people in. And I think we had, I want to say 120, 125 that first race.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, so you let more in that year. Okay.
Yeah. We were just like, we don't know what we're doing. We can,
Yeah,
Wow.
we didn't know.
yeah, I
We
mean,
didn't
we
know any
had
better.
no idea what we were doing. It was pretty silly. I mean, that little girl that just you guys saw in the video come in and give me a kiss, she was in my belly at that
I was
point.
gonna say she
Um,
probably was maybe not even around then.
and then she ended up being born early and deciding to show up at one of the pre-rides, more or less, is when I started kind of going into labor
Wow.
and yeah, she was 2 weeks old at the first race. So
Wow.
That is
yeah.
crazy.
Good job.
At the first race, how many, because I know you have there's 4 courses now, like pro, expert, sport, beginner, and the light. What was the first race? Did you have multiple courses still, or did you just do one, like everyone kind of all inclusive?
We did. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
I
right?
think we had. I think we separated. We had multiple courses.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I think,
because they were longer.
Mm-hmm.
but they were longer. We didn't have an enduro like course. Actually, looking at the
No.
stats right now.
Nice.
I mean, we had different categories, but I don't remember if we had different courses.
It's so funny. I've forgotten.
Yeah.
You know, I
At
mean,
least I
it's
mean we did the next year, but I that first year I don't remember.
Was the second year also at down in Olympia, or what is that? I'm drawn. Okay.
No, after the first year we moved up to Tiger Mountain.
Got it.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
realized that it was just far enough away to make it quite difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, Tiger hadn't, like, DNR had not been very open to races on DNR land, or at least that DNR office hadn't been until Evergreen and Trey and the Race Cascadia really pushed that charge and got DNR to allow the first race at Tiger. And once there was that first race at Tiger, which was a Race Cascadia race, we were like, oh, well, shoot, let's try for Tiger. And sure enough, we got a permit and were able to move it more close to us, which was helpful. And
Yeah.
there was definitely a large leap in interest
Oh.
when we moved it to Tiger.
For the
Interesting.
non-local folk, what is DNR?
Oh, Department of Natural Resources.
Okay, okay. I mean, I figured I think anyone could gather that it's some sort of land management, but
Yeah,
just for anyone's like curiosity, if especially if they are local and don't know what it means and they see signs or something about it, like, well, what is this?
right.
And
So
Which their
locally,
Instagram account is amazing, by the way. Just a
it
little
really
plug
is.
for the Washington DNR Instagram style.
They're
Mm-hmm.
most of our trails are on in Washington State are on DNR land. The not all of them, but a significant amount of them. So
okay,
yeah.
got it. And now, so now you're alternating, right, between Tiger and Raging, or how is that working? Just kind of depends, just wherever the wind takes you that year.
A little bit. It depends on which mountain can really is optimal for our race.
Hmm,
We
hmm.
theoretically we would like to do every other year. Last year we did Raging, and then we stayed at Raging this year because there's new trails going in, and there's
Oh,
not new trails going in at Tiger. Also, there's a lot of highway construction on Highway 18,
yes.
and the parking situation is pretty terrible. And for
Yeah.
lots and lots of reasons, Raging was a better venue for
Mm-hmm.
us this year as well.
Well, on
Yeah.
my personal opinion, I think Amber can agree. I mean, I know she's ridden Tiger. I've ridden it a few times visiting up there because I've been in Tahoe 10 years now. But we loved the venue at Raging in the space that it had for the sponsors and like, after the race and all that. And then just the camping
Camping.
too. And one thing we've been talking about is how stoked we are that this year you can camp Friday and Saturday night. Like
Yes.
that feels
Yeah.
like a huge, like, this is going to be a blast, like full weekend kind of thing, not just like all right, for those who have traveled, maybe that it makes more sense to be able to come in Friday, camp, and you're just there and you don't have to wake up and try to commute Saturday. But then like after the race, it's like, oh, well, wait, I want to talk to this person more, or that person knows. So I'm super excited to, after the race, just really like settle in and like, now let's rage at the river.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
are we
Yes.
totally.
I bet you guys are like,
Yes.
yeah, like we don't
Well
have to pack
deserved,
up.
ladies.
There's
Well
there's no-
deserved.
There's always like after the race is like this massive adrenaline rush, and then you're like,
Yes.
okay, and now we have to clean up and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every year we like clean up, pack up, and then like last year I can remember us just sitting at a picnic table, like the whole venue's empty, and we're just like, all right, cheers. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And then the next day, like there's still, you have to reride the course and make sure that all the course marking is gone. And
Yeah.
like we're all exhausted. And
Yeah.
I, because I'm the closest to the trails, like went out on my e-bike and rode the thing and made sure that all the course marking was picked up. So we were excited to have something the second day, and
Yeah.
we are going to hopefully enlist racers to come out and help us with trash pickup the next
Here
day.
for
That's
it. I'm here for that.
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask. Like, okay, well, now it's a better opportunity. Like, a Sunday morning, I'm sure some people still have to like, get back to whatever, but still it's a little less like hustle and bustle, get out of there Saturday night, because I'm sure it's like a mass exodus Saturday, awards are over, like bam, out of here. So Sunday, I'm sure there's more of a trickle effect, obviously, for those not camping Saturday, and just way more opportunity on Sunday for people to get involved, especially people who did travel. That's more reason. They're like, no, I want to ride these trails more. So heck yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go do that again and help
Mhm.
pick up, especially if they maybe didn't do a certain course and they want to go do those trails that they didn't do in the race or something. I think that's opens the doors for sure for just more involvement and help for all you ladies. Because yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
for you now, Sunday, it's like hard enough Saturday, but Sunday too is going to be, I'm sure, just as exhausting that Sunday, Monday, and following week or two. I bet it takes a while to download from it all. How many
Yeah.
racers now are that? What's the capacity?
We are at 300 right now.
That's like total, that's not wait list. That's
That's what
just
we're at. No. That's 300 registered. I haven't checked the wait list lately, but I think it's around 200.
It's at
oh,
200. Yeah.
oh my
Wow.
goodness. That's insane. We go from someone saying like, yeah, good luck getting 75. And now, I mean, 10 years later, like I said, selling out in 8 minutes is like for 300
Four.
spots.
4 minutes.
Whoa, my mind is like, I
Yes.
don't know where I got eight
That's how you
from.
measure success right there.
That's crazy. That is
Yeah.
insane. So, all right, first of all, 10 years, camping 2 days. I don't know if you guys can tell us, maybe there's gonna be a surprise, but like, got anything big planned for a 10-year at this race that you can let us in on yet? Or what? Or do the people have to wait, or are we just like, it's a party no matter what?
Hot goss.
Yeah, spill the tea.
I think that we would love to tell you if we had things planned.
Like I think we barely have the porta potties ordered. Like we're still working on, you know,
We yeah, we do plan like we are working on plans.
Yeah.
We don't have anything set yet, but we on the Friday before we would we're setting up hopefully a bunch of like pre-rides and coaches and
Cool.
some possible clinics. We are hoping that all of our we are requesting that all of our vendors are there on Friday.
Mhm.
So it's more of a festival feel
Ooh, yeah, I love
for
that.
the event, where people can come on Friday and, have vendors there,
Mhm.
things to do.
Awesome.
You know, if there's tree spots on course, have clinics available, uh, things like that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's
Yeah.
super
Last year
cool.
we had a fun, it was a chainless race that we did on
Yes.
lower stages too. And it was such a blast. Saram was out there helping folks take their chain off their bike and safely put it back on so that, nobody had to worry about their shifting or anything. And it was just so fun. It was one of those trails that's just like flowy, a good time, kick back, relax, go, chainless race.
That's
So
awesome.
probably do something. We've been talking about doing something kind of similar to that. Maybe there will be a Super D. I don't know. Something will happen.
Cool.
So
I love that festival idea feel like, yeah, all weekend, right? And I mean, for vendor on that side, it seems like all the more opportunity to like get your exposure out there as well and meet people and create relationships that are longer lasting than just like, hey, saw you after the race and I didn't buy that shirt, but like I'm gonna follow you or, tell all my friends about you or whatnot. And like on-site clinics that weekend, that'd be so amazing. And speaking of that, you, AD, mentioned like you do the dig days and arrange clinics and all of that kind of stuff. So I know being a
Yeah.
part of it, and Amber, as we've talked with Jessica and whatnot, like you have trained to be sturdy as well, a whole fitness can like workouts with rides and strength training and stuff like that leading up to the race. So tell us a little bit about like all these things that lead up to the race itself that people, especially in that area, could get involved in.
Yeah, I mean, it helps if you're local for sure.
Yeah.
But we set up clinics with Angie Weston of Radical Roots. Um, and she's going to have clinics in both like at Raging on trail and then also up in Bellingham. So people from up north and in the Seattle area can take her clinics. We will have clinics with Jill Kittner,
Oh, yeah.
who is the fastest woman in America.
Yeah. Hasn't, wait,
Um,
is she the one that's won it like every year?
yeah,
yes.
like yes, there is no competition.
Yeah.
Jill is She is incredible. Her ability to focus and race is matched by none.
That's so cool.
She is definitely, the greatest of all time, for the States, and we are lucky enough that we have a great relationship with her. And she's going to do not just like skills clinics, but also race prep clinics,
Mm.
uh, talking about like race mentality and like the actual how she preps for a race
Mhm.
and what to do at the start line. And that kind of like this will be, I think, the third year that she's doing that for us. And every year I'm there with her and I learn something new, and it's so cool. We also have local clinics with a local coach, Karen O'Connell. Um, and she does these great small group clinics on the race course, working on specific troublesome features on the course. We do group rides twice a month, starting at the end of this month.
Is
One
that
on a
in
weekend.
the like trained to be sturdy
That's
whole thing,
under
or is
trained
it
to
separate?
be.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep, that's under trained to be sturdy. So one of those group rides will be on a weekday after work. The other one will be on a weekend. Trying to just get people out on the trails.
Yeah.
They won't all be on raging at the race courses. It just
Mhm.
depends on what is riding best. We've had group rides at Tokel, at Tiger, at Raging. Um, they are all local to like the Snoqualmie Valley area, though. And then we also do monthly dig days. And we just recently did a trail school where we spent half the day in the classroom and then the other half of the day implementing what was learned in the classroom setting out on the trail, focusing on drainage.
Amazing.
Oh,
And that was
yes.
really cool.
So yeah, in trail school, you're learning about like how to kind of dig responsibly and like make trails like in a sustainable way to the environment.
Mhm.
Yeah, and about like the different soil compositions, the different trail like tools that we use and what they are specifically good for. Yeah, sustainability practices. Um,
That's
That is so
amazing.
incredible, especially
We,
since this is
yeah.
like a side thing for you guys. Like you guys all have day jobs, right?
Yeah,
Like
like
you're a
Amber,
mother.
thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
I was gonna, I
Yeah.
wanted to make
yeah.
sure we touched on that. Like,
Like
this is not
mom,
full
full-time
time.
job.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is amazing. Like you guys are doing the most, and thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all
Truly.
have like very significant full-time jobs.
Mhm.
Like uh Jessica like is doing great
Court
stuff.
family services. And
Uh-huh. Like
Wow.
Katie's the
really emotional
legal.
work. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. That's a
Michelle's
lot.
Michelle's in the medical field, so yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, she's a nurse in the emergency room at Harborview, which is
Oh my God.
like,
Wow.
Yeah.
and then Julie's super high up in the Seattle Waters um services, and like
Awesome.
she's really important.
That's
Yes.
amazing. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
And then Katie and Adi, what do you guys do for your day jobs?
I work at Microsoft. I'm in the legal
Nice.
department.
Nice.
Not much longer.
80's an appraiser.
It's like
Wow.
I work for BECU, the Boeing Employees Credit Union.
Cool.
How, lady?
And I do commercial review appraisal.
Wow.
Wow.
Just
That
like
sounds very professional.
all this, all of it.
Yeah, I'll like this
Like,
is incredible.
yeah. And then like, oh, just on my free time, I'll do
Yeah.
this, that, or the other. And something like trail school, I think is so important because those are things a lot of us don't think about when we're out on the trail. Like, obviously we know people made them, but I think sometimes it takes something to happen or a little bit more thought to like, oh yeah, someone actually spent their hard-earned time out here digging this trail instead of like this just magically appeared for me. Like,
Mhm.
wouldn't you know, I just followed a deer down here and a trail happened. Like it's not exactly how it all works. So I think educating people about those those things that go into it is so important and can just, I mean, also help spread the word and get people out there like for more trails to be in existence at all and accessible to more people where, a lot of people have to drive a bit to get to a good trail,
Yeah.
but they might have an area near them that it's possible to have a trail, but there's no one around to like take the initiative or have any idea of how to create that. So that's really awesome that you guys are doing all that.
Hi.
There was one thing that AD didn't mention that she does, but she's also on the Evergreen board.
Goodness
Yeah.
gracious. So with all of this going on, because I could imagine like planning for the Sturdy Dirty is kind of like planning for a wedding or something like that. It's a massive event. How often do you guys get together and like chip away at the planning?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we have team meetings at least every 3 weeks, if not every 2 weeks,
Okay.
Throughout the
um,
whole year.
throughout most of the year. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had between all these things that you do these days and how big it's gotten, I'm like, doesn't seem like there's an off season at all. You're not just like, okay, now we're getting ready for registration. Here we go. And then, for 4 months or however long we're planning for it, it seems like this is just year round now at this point between all the things.
I mean,
Or
I think
maybe
we
it
usually
always has
take like
been.
August off, maybe.
I feel like in our off season, we're just riding bikes together and having fun.
Okay,
And
good.
we
Well,
do
I
that
love that.
anyways.
My
That's
next question
great.
was going to be, so how do we fit in self-care into these lifestyles? You know what I mean? Like you got to fit it in. And that is a form of self-care for sure.
Riding your
With
bike. Yeah.
your
Riding,
babe.
definitely.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think it really helps that we like each other a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
we are all good friends, and
Yeah.
so, when we meet a lot, it's also we spend, a fair amount of time just
Shooting the
chatting.
shit.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
shooting the shit.
If
Mhm.
I
Yep.
could if I could show you our ongoing text string, you would see that. It's
Like, where's the
there's
business?
Yeah.
That's so, and I feel like that connection right there is also what has like tied into the success. You know what I mean? Because like, how often do you meet five women and you're like, hey, we have this fun idea. Let's just like, boom, make it happen. 10 years later, 3-day festival, like it's just really remarkable. And you could see that in your guys, like that it all stems from like that solid foundation of a friendship and relationship that you guys all have with each other.
Yeah, like that energy that you guys all have for it definitely comes out in the whole
Event.
entire, yeah, event.
Community even.
And so also, I don't know when, like I noticed when I was there, I mean, the young racers, that I was like, holy crap, because I mean, I didn't even get into mountain biking till my mid 20s, and it was a pretty slow start and whatnot. And to see, I mean, a lot of sports have just grown exponentially in the last few years, but like seeing these young kids just rip, and I'm like, they're doing that. I looked, okay, and I was like, that 10-year-old did that faster than I did. Like, so wow. But when did you guys start to spread into those younger generations and get the younger racers involved?
Um, that's actually, I mean, it's been a bit of a struggle. I mean, enduro is not the best medium for a lot of younger racers.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Most younger girls don't have the stamina to do the climbing necessary.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so it really has taken kind of a special few.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, Molly Blair has been racing the Sturdy for
A while,
a long time,
like
since
years.
2008. Yeah, since she
Yeah.
was 9 or 10 years old. Um, and she races it every year. And I mean, like she's now my daughter's babysitter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, um, but a lot of the youth can be really attributed to Cat Sweet and Sweet Lines.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, her, I mean, I cannot understate or overstate how much her impact is on the youth. Her youth programming has been just amazing. And I feel like we reap the benefits by having more young racers.
Hmm.
But it really is attributed to Cat Sweet. She does such a great job, and we're so lucky to have her.
And I
Shout
just
out.
love how she elevates her young racers too. Like a lot of the people who she's coached over the years are now coaches themselves and help out with the, elevating the younger generations to come too, and just keeping that cycle going is just a really, really beautiful thing to see. And getting more young girls and women into racing is awesome. And if Sturdy can be their gateway into that, love it.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's like, for me, I even think about the experience I had there, and it doesn't even have to be, I have no interest in really racing any other race. I might, but I just wanted, like, the Sturdy has such a draw to me for all the reasons that we've talked about. And I don't feel that it's just like a race. So I love that it attracts people who are competitive racers, but also people who are like, hey, I'm not trying to do this, I'm just trying to have fun. And I feel like that's a great way to get young riders, like just the younger generation involved in biking at all, is like, you can still have fun. Yeah, you can race if you want, but you can race here and it's all just for fun. You can go the competitive route, or you're just meeting your community. And I think that's so important, especially for young girls, to like learn that there is a community for them in these activities that they want to do, because for so long in a lot of these sports we were kind of shut out, or you're the token girl or whatever, and maybe you have one girlfriend to go ride with, but for them to see hundreds of women gather, and not just women, right? There's tons of men out there volunteering on the courses, and involved in the vendors and all of that. So it's not a, hey, women only, as we always say here on the podcast. We're not a like man-hating women's club. We love anyone who's going to support us. Like, thank you, we accept it, and we'll support you back. So I think that's just great for them to be able to see, like, hey, there are men out here that support you too, but this particular is just like a little bit more about building our women community. So I think it's just so awesome to, yeah, like you said, be the gateway for whether they're racing or not, of just showing them that this is what exists. Because a lot of us here, I think we're all in that same generation where there wasn't a lot of opportunity, where we saw huge women only events that were around sport.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, just kudos. So many kudos to you ladies and everything you're doing through all generations. I mean, I don't even know if this is something you can pull out of the top of your head, or if it's something you even keep track of, but like youngest racer and like oldest racer, do you know what that age span looks like?
Is it 8?
I think 8 was our
I think 8 was our
Yeah,
youngest.
somebody in their 70s.
Awesome.
1 year.
Did we? 68, I remember.
68, okay.
And we do have a 60 plus category this year.
Oh, cool. That
Awesome.
was my next question. Like, what is that? That's amazing. That's so cool, because that's another thing I feel like we're seeing a lot too of more these days, is like, we're not just trying to build up the younger generation. We're also like, hey, you don't hit like 45 and like, okay, bye, see ya, you're out of here now. It's like, nope. And you also can get started at that age. You don't have to have been doing it for 20 years, 10 years. Like, you've never ridden a bike and you're 55. So come out here, go do it. Like, it's possible. So that's again, just an amazing thing that can happen when a group of women just get together and are welcoming. So I also want to talk about, with the Train to Be Sturdy, how we mentioned, it's strength workouts and training rides and things like that. But you also mentioned with Jill's clinics, like the race mentality. So mentality overall and mental health, like how does that come into play in the Sturdy, Train to Be Sturdy planning, or anything you guys talk about?
Anybody want to take it?
Well, I'll take that one. So,
Great.
Just thinking about the fitness and mental health, like preparing to race an enduro race, even if it's a party and it's a lot of fun, like it's serious racing too. It's a big day. Like the pro expert course is upwards of 5,000 feet elevation, and you're having to prepare for that. And things happen, injuries happen. I just had a sprained ankle from a stupid injury a month ago, and that does take a little bit of a toll on your, mental health and just your physical health too. But having that sense of community and the people to lean into to help, navigate through that and like push through, to have a goal, have people that you can connect with, and have a community that really just, embraces and is there for you along the way. And I think that's kind of what Train to Be Sturdy has in a lot of ways become. We've seen some really amazing discussions on there, and it's just really cool to see people from, I think it's upwards of like 700-800 people now in the group. So people from all over the country, or possibly the world, in that group, just learning about the race and hearing about events that are coming up. But and I'll just say the Train to Be Sturdy is a Facebook group for women, non-binary, transgender, women identifying people who want to learn more about Sturdy and other events that we're putting on. And we're having a kickoff party, I think, is it at the end of the month?
At the end of this month, yeah.
Yeah, end of this month.
Oh,
yeah. So we'll be kickoff party and be sharing about different events that are coming up, the group ride schedule, the coaching clinics. We have physical therapists come in and talk about physical health and what to do if you're recovering from an injury, how to prevent injuries. And we had a nutritionist come in and talk about, ways to prepare for a race from the nutrition standpoint. And then, we also have the training plan, the fitness training plan. And it's just a way like I said, we've seen some really great discussions in the group that are connecting people from across the country to just prepare together and get ready and get excited about racing and hear about what other opportunities there are across the country as well. That, we could, even though the 30th, it's here in the PNW and we get a lot of people coming, it's so great to see what other things are happening across the country too. Mm-hmm. And just keeping that energy going it's really cool to see. We love mm-hmm. seeing about other groups and events that are happening across the world.
I love that Facebook group because, like you mentioned, it just brings people from all over to connect. So you may not be in the Pacific Northwest, you may not be in that area. So, but odds are you might be able to find someone close to you to ride with or to connect with, or at least you're connecting with them in that way if you can't connect with them back at home and writing and whatnot. And I think it's so important these days to have the conversation of the mental health, because again, even if it's not race specific, just writing, right? Sometimes you're just like, especially as women, we talk about this a lot, right? You're down and out one day on a ride, you're like, I did great yesterday on this, like same ride, 10 miles, whatever. And then the next day you're bogged and you're like, what the heck's like, and you go so deep in your head of like, there's something wrong with me. Like I don't know what's happened. This switch has gone off. So having these open conversations of just knowing that we can get in our heads sometimes, and there's a lot of external factors for all of us that do that, and being able to have open conversations, again, it just can be that difference of like just getting you out on your bike for a fun ride and not throwing in the towel, thinking like, if I'm feeling this way about a ride that I'm just using as like a training ride or a ride for fun, there's no way I can race, and people they're like, I'm out. But if we can have, again, those conversations, like, nope, we go through shit. Or whether we're riding for fun or whether we're going to race, and let's talk about it. So providing that group is just one of those key things to get people comfortable with knowing like we all go through these feels and it's normal. It doesn't make it easy to go through, but there's other people out there who have gone with it and it can at least relate to you. You don't always need advice, right? You just need to know that someone has struggled in the same way so you don't feel alone in those thoughts. And that's, again, one of our big messages that we try to get through in like every episode is like, however you're feeling, like someone else out there is feeling that way too. Again, it doesn't make it easy, but if you feel less alone in whatever that is, even in your celebration, even in your victories, celebrating alone, like being victorious alone is like, oh, well, I got no one to high five. So in all the things, we want support and relatedness. So I think you guys,
especially
again,
since we are cyclic creatures, and eventually down the road, we will get to experience menopause.
Yep, absolutely. Go through it all.
It's not far away.
Yeah,
It's right there.
Yep.
You just never know. You just never know.
I used to taught my dog how to high five. So if I don't have somebody to high five, I have my dog to high five. But,
yeah. Mine don't quite high five, they shake, and sometimes I'll pretend that that's a five if I need it, low five.
Same.
I don't know about you guys, but when I'm riding my bike by myself on the trail and making all sorts of noises, that's kind of like my own personal high five.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah, I did that a little bit today. Like let out a whoop for sure. And so I wanted to talk about too, it's kind of like not super turning a corner or taking a left turn rather, but we have had Spike on, which I think
Mhm.
some of you are familiar with because I'm sorry, this uh the organizations, I think she's in, or they're involved with the Arrow Project, like that April Katz runs. But we had her on I'm just feel so bad. I'm trying to keep these pronouns correct. We had Spike on when we did the live Sturdy interview last year, and they mentioned accessibility for
Mhm.
because they are a adaptive rider. And that's something exciting I saw too. Isn't there going to be an adaptive course this year?
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
love seeing that where instantly, it always takes time for these things to happen. So I can't say instantly, but that's something that's been an issue and you guys are addressing it. And so, and more kudos for you for listening to the feedback from riders of all sorts of capabilities. So can you talk a little bit about the accessibility that you are offering for adaptive riders this year?
So unfortunately, Michelle is the one who's kind of driving that with
Uh-huh.
April. So she's probably the most informed. But yes, we are working with April, and she's going to help us. Like basically, they'll be riding the Enduro Light course.
Mhm.
But we're really at the beginning of stages of figuring out everything that needs to happen. I actually just before this, us talking, I listened to that Sturdy live podcast, and so was really listening to what Spike had to say. And it was funny, listening to the beginning of your podcast, I was like, oh yeah, well, this is why we do it. Everybody's so excited. And then listening to Spike, it was like, ah, God, but we really need to do better.
Mhm.
And so, you know, we're we're trying to do better with this, and we know we'll make some mistakes, but we hope that we get lots of feedback, and we love the feedback that we heard from Spike. It was just all spot on.
Awesome.
And so we're going to be having we'll have the course. We're going to move the damn toilets. We're going to move those
Uh-huh.
damn toilets. They weren't accessible for anyone.
They were a trek, I must say. I
Yeah.
waited until I was about to blow. Like, I was like, I'm not going up there.
We're gonna move the toilets. But in general, we're definitely, again, we're gonna work with April because there's so much we don't know in this space.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so just having that partnership there is just super exciting. And I think another thing that Spike mentioned was the website and how it's not accessible. And I
Oh.
100% agree.
Mhm.
And we've hired a website designer to help us redesign the website and make things better. And so yeah, we're going to work with Aero Project to get that up and running. And Adie, I think you mentioned that there's somebody from Evergreen who is
Yeah.
focusing specifically on making those trails better for adaptive bikes. So
Evergreen Mountain Bike Alliance has a builder who is specifically designated to work on accessibility and for adaptive mountain bikers. And it's that, which just the fact that that exists is
Mhm.
so cool.
Mhm.
Um, Steve, the builder, is going to, he's been working out at Duthie a lot on making sure that those, as many trails as possible are um, accessible to adaptive mountain bikers. Um, and now he's going to focus on raging, specifically for the sturdy, which that's so cool.
That is so cool.
We are so lucky to have Evergreen Mountain Bike Alliance, just as a resource to help us. It's yeah, so we're really excited about that.
Well, from the sounds of it, from including, younger racers trying to figure out how you can get them going and adaptive racers said it takes time, right, to build this, and you don't know what you don't know. So by reaching out to the people who do have more experience in these areas and bringing them on is the first step doing and trying to make the changes. So I think anyone who has been following you guys for a while and is seeing the things happening, they know, like, yeah, you're making those efforts and putting forth the time and resources and not just trying to figure it out yourselves. You're pulling on people who've worked in these spaces before. And that just obviously helps speed up the process in general and makes it everything more accessible to anybody. And that's always the goal, right? You don't want to shut people out. This race isn't about shutting people out because it's a women's like race. So I think, like I said, you're taking all the steps, and anyone who can't see that, I just think that maybe it's because they haven't followed long enough, right? And they only see like right here, like, oh, you need to do more. We all can do more and be better in everything we do. So I think having that grace for everyone and ourselves is a key thing and super important, is like all a work in progress, every single person on this planet. And I don't even know how. I think I found the Sturdy Dirty in 2016 or something, because I started biking in like 2015 and probably just came across it from social media. And it was my dream to race it. And I was just so scared for so long, like, because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I worked at a bike park for one summer, but then after that, it was just like I was on a boat for 2 summers. It just like it's come and gone biking in my life. And finally last year, when I had to pull out, like I mentioned briefly in 2021, I was like, yes, it's happening. And again, like, because I wasn't in this competitive mode, just doing it for fun, but if I wanted to be competitive, I could. And experiencing it was, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, like, not even something I could make up. I couldn't, I was like, wow, this is way more than I thought it was gonna be. And I think from my perspective too, and one thing that I think would be very helpful, because Train to Be Sturdy, that group is amazing and there's so many good resources in it. But and I know the courses may not be completely set yet, but a way to reach racers in different areas and have like tips for training rides for them. And obviously that's a lot on you guys, right? You don't know this area. Maybe you can't go say, go ride this trail and it'll most replicate the race course. But a way that people who are not in the area can try to figure out what they could use as training courses, it would be so awesome to see. And yeah, I don't know how you'd go about doing that, because even if you had like ambassadors or something, there's no way you can hit every single area that every person's coming from.
But I think it would be possible to crowdsource some of that information from people that have raced Sturdy previously, just through the Train to Be Sturdy Facebook group. It's a great idea. We could definitely try to get that going.
Yeah, like not to put more on your plate or anything, but I was just thinking, like,
Jessica,
you guys are doing so great, like I said, with everything. And I mean, it blew my expectations out of the water for what it was. The only thing I could ever think of is like, dang, I wish, since I didn't have the chance to ride the course until like 2 days before, and then I was like, oh God, what did I do? What did I do? What did I sign up for? It didn't help that I had a pretty gnarly crash 3 weeks before the race, so I wasn't really biking at all. That also had a lot to do with mental like toughness, or not even toughness, just mental like capacity really, and getting kind of over that. I was still very much hurt and couldn't like laugh or cough without pain. But that's the only thing of like, how can I prepare better on the trails if I'm not in the area? The strength program, all that amazing, but just having an idea of like, how can I ride to feel prepared, especially mentally, because yeah, you get there and like you've never been to that area, you're like, oh, like, this is not what I thought. Shit, now I'm not sure if I can do this tomorrow.
Absolutely. I mean, the trails aren't easy.
Yeah.
No.
I think last year somebody
Did the video.
did a video.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I don't
Oh,
know.
I did see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
We had Lily.
Lily.
Lily did a video for us, which was great. But it's always hard to tell what the trails are really like. Video only does so much.
Yeah. I love blind racing. Like that's kind of my bread and butter, is going up to these big, I love it. It's so much.
I hate
but
it.
watch a lot of videos and like see pictures and just kind of get an idea. And like Adie said, you're not going to know everything just from a video, but it does kind of help to, you know, break down that like complete unknown.
Yeah. But like you said too, there's oh sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like there's many people out there who are like, whatever, like let's take it as it comes. And then there's other people like me where I'm like, I feel way more comfortable when I know every twist, turn, and drop. Otherwise, I'm like, are my brakes working? I don't think they're working.
Yeah. That's why our slogan last year was party pace. And that's just kind of
yes.
got to keep in your mind. It's like, yeah, even though this is a race, like I'm here for fun and I want to be able to get the next day too. Like, don't, you know, yeah, it's serious competition. It's serious fun too. And like party pace.
Yeah. I have a question for you, actually, Amber, being that this will be your first year racing, but last year you got to see it, right? You rode up, and you were hanging with me, and so you got to see another side of it, but you didn't actually race. Like for you as a brand new racer into this, what you got any thoughts, feels like
All
about
of
going?
them.
Yeah.
For sure, all of them. But I mean, like, it's just, it's an end goal to get me to ride more, whether that's on the road, on gravel, on a mountain bike. Like, this year is all about bikes, babies. So, I mean, and I've ridden Raging River quite a few times, and I freaking love the trails. And I have plans to ride with a friend who's also racing in sports. So, I might move categories. I don't know. I just like, it's all about the bikes this year. So I'm excited to see when the day comes how I'll actually feel, because I don't like competition.
Yeah.
So I'm all for the party pace. I don't know
That's why you're my number one hype girl.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm just here for the fun. And it's just so great for people who are like me, who are like, I'm not competitive. That's scary, to just be like, let's just go hang out and have fun, and period.
Yeah.
And
Done.
period.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'm the same way as far as using something like this to kind of be my momentum to like bike more, right? To
End goal.
Yeah, like, all right, I'm doing this in July, and that can be at the forefront of my mind to like be my motivation to get out on my bike in April, June, May, all those other months, right? And it's like, yeah, that's sturdy. Like I gotta ride. So that is one thing that I personally use it for too, is like sign up for something, and then that's the kick in my butt to get out and be on my bike in any capacity.
Exactly. Yeah. Are any of you guys racing? Is anybody of the Sturdy B team racing?
No.
Okay.
Not in our race. Are you just asking generally, or?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Either in the race or generally.
I feel like during the race we are way too busy.
Yes.
There's just too much going on.
Yeah.
But we did a team enduro last year. Katie did the BC or some 100-miler thing or
gravel race. Yeah, I do a gravel race. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
just 100-mile gravel race.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like,
how many miles? 100.
It was my brother and I would do the Rebecca's Private Idaho 100-mile gravel race. That was we did it 3 years in a row. This year, Michelle,
Katie, what are you doing this year? Yeah,
Michelle
talk about
and I
that.
are going to do the Capitol Forest gravel race in end of April, the 100-mile. That one is going to be absolutely ridiculous. And to your point about getting on your bike and riding more, I need to get on my bike and ride more.
Yes,
get on your bike. But it's a gravel bike. It's a gravel race.
That's a whole nother, like, you got to train your wrists, your ass. Like, it's a whole nother training situation when you're on gravel.
Time in the saddle. Like, I'll just sit on my bike. That's training,
but
right?
We do a lot of, like, actually, I feel like our preference is more to volunteer at like the race Cascadia races. Like we, like being like, yeah, there's not a lot of sweep spots that get opened up for women, but Cam likes to save a couple for us. So yeah, we'll at least do those races, and yeah, so we show up.
At this point, I would. Oh, sorry, Jessica, you go.
Oh, okay. My heart is with some of the trans races, the Trans BC and Trans New Zealand. Those are a lot of fun. So if you're looking for a multi-day fun adventure, those are a blast. And just up in BC or New Zealand, and I volunteered with that 1 year. But Edie, go ahead. Yeah,
Oh,
same
I mean,
like with Race Cascadia. But
yeah, I mean, to piggyback on that, like, obviously having a kid makes doing trans races a lot harder. It makes
Yes.
doing all of these things a bit
Yes.
harder time-wise. I miss trans racing. I really enjoyed doing the multi-day stage races.
Mhm.
But I also love being a hype girl for the sport ladies
Yeah.
yes,
at the Race Cascadia races. I I love it. It's so much fun to just cheer them on. I mean, I love writing the expert pro courses for sure. Those ladies just don't need as much like cheering.
Yeah, they're because they already have their system for
Hmm.
racing.
Yep. But those sport ladies, man, they have my heart. I love sweeping them and um, just being their hype squad.
I
So,
love it.
yeah.
Well, before we sign off, ladies, I want to give you all the chance to, if there's anything, questions, whatever you have for us, or at least leaving the audience with anything, any tidbit you want, organization shout outs, your own shout outs, where to find Sturdy, any information. It'll all be in the show notes. But whatever you guys have got, here's your chance to just leave it out there for us, because we don't want to keep you all night, because yeah, you guys have a million things to do. So
I'll just give a shout out. I want to say thank you to our title sponsor, Evo.
Mhm.
They've been so amazing. And Shredly, Transition, Smart Wool. You mentioned Wild Rye that you've done
Aha.
with them. They're one of our amazing sponsors. And then just the work that we've done with Evergreen. I'm working on a pink bike blog right now for the trail school. We did a Way Up North Media. Ash did a video of kind of showcasing that event that we did. So that's going to be coming out on Pink Bike here soon. And then what else? I'm sure we've got some other social media things, but you can find us on Instagram at Sturdy Dirty Enduro, and then on Facebook at Sturdy Dirty Enduro as well. And then the Train to Beat that I spoke about earlier is also on Facebook.
Mhm.
Awesome. I'll link
Yeah.
all of that.
I
Awesome.
just wanted to add a little note on the adaptive.
Oh.
We haven't gotten that set up on how to sign up and everything. And as soon as we have that sorted out, we will blast it and we will let people know. And if anybody has questions about that in the meantime, just shoot an email to info@sturdydirty.com and we'll answer questions. We'll answer
Okay.
what we can.
Awesome. Yeah, I hadn't realized that didn't go out in the registration on the 14th. So that's great to know. And then this will be, the 21st of March that everyone's listening to this. So we'll have that info to you in the show notes, or it'll be blasted out before, after all that. We'll make sure you get to the right spot.
Awesome.
Awesome. Oh, wonderful. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining us tonight and talking all things sturdy and biking. And I'm sure we would love to have you guys again and dive into all other things, even like post sturdy, like, all right, what's next? Just more sturdy, more biking, right?
Vacation time,
Yeah,
mandatory
totally. Don't
vacation
worry,
time.
we will not hit you up after the race. We'll give you August off for sure. But we just love all the guests we've had and being able to have you multiple times, because we could talk for hours and hours about things. So yeah, thank you ladies so much for your time. And well, we'll see you in July. And maybe we mentioned that party at the end of this month, the kickoff, or what
Mhm.
would, yeah. I'm hoping to get up to Washington for my springtime visit. I was aiming for April. Now I might have to like adjust my dates and see if I can
Yes,
make that
bitch.
party. So we'll see what I can pull off. But awesome. Keep your ears peeled, everybody, for that party and for anything and all things sturdy and just biking. Like, let's get out there and ride some bikes.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, ladies, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Welcome. We hope you enjoyed this episode and would do us a huge favor, since we don't have any sponsors or anything like that, and would rate and review us on whatever platform it is you use, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it is. And if you're listening and downloading just through the website, tearingituppodcast.com, leave comments. We'll definitely engage back with you. And on social media right now, we're just on Instagram. Tearing It Up Podcast is the handle. like the post, share the post, comment on the post, whatever it is you got. Show us your love so we just stay relevant and show up in the rankings at all. So again, rate and review, please, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.